Hip-hop.
Anonymous.
Saturdays.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sapo Scratch Track Saturdays. We got your boy ASAP Froggy, the one, the only, Mr. Bingus Frog.
Ribbit, yow.
And we have Mr. A-Bomb from his house.
All right, we are Sapo Studios. Our goal is to bring the majority of profits and ownership rights back into the hands of musicians. We operate under the umbrella of the Notorious Frog NFT project, aka Frogland. Do your own research, but get involved! We have plans to unveil a marketplace where you can buy and sell stems and do a whole lot more, but until then, we're jamming with artists and chatting it up with them about music, life, and NFTs. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Phillip Fraser. How are you, Phil?
I'm doing well. Very excited to be on the show. Been looking into what you guys are up to, and it's a lot going on.
Yeah, man. Really, really excited to have you here. I was over at your place a couple months ago, and you showed me some of your music, and I thought it was fucking awesome, and definitely wanted to get you on the show as soon as possible, so I'm glad it finally worked out.
And just your general vibe, your vibe overall is just wonderful to be around, because I was actually with Bingus when we were at your place.
I appreciate that. I try to, live positively and bring some light to the world where I can. So meeting like-minded people is always a joy of that.
Absolutely. Are you an LA native?
I am not, but I have been here 17 years. So I kind of feel like it's, not native, but native enough.
For sure.
I've gone native.
Yeah. Where are you from originally?
Well, born in Chicago, raised in Detroit. A lot of high school and middle school up in Northern California, Santa Rosa, and then moved down to go to music school down here in 2006.
Interesting, man. I'm from Detroit.
Oh, really? Royal Oak, baby?
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I'm from Bloomfield, so I used to go to Royal Oak all the time. Used to hang out at the bars down there.
So have you always been a singer, or is that something that you picked up later in life?
Yeah, actually, I think I've been a performer since I was about 4 years old. My mom went to University of Michigan on a full opera scholarship, so music has always been a big part of my life.
Another funny coincidence, my brother went to University of Michigan for opera.
Nice.
Literally for opera. Yeah.
Love serendipity.
Yeah, right?
Ann Arbor is beautiful. I don't know if you got to go spend time out there, but it is an amazing place. And I'm sure it's beautiful this time of year, which I'm missing the fall. So I'm jealous of all you East Coast people that are listening.
I'm sure it's starting to get quite cold out there, though.
Yeah, it's brisk. But sorry, we cut you off. Go ahead. So your mother went to University of Michigan for opera?
Yes, sir. And so, just in the household, she never wanted to force music on me, so she never taught me how to read music. But somehow I always found myself singing duets and random Christmas operas with her growing up. And family had always been super supportive when I decided to be a musician. And that kind of took off a little bit more when I was a teenager and wanted to go to space camp. And my parents were like, well, you're going to need to make the money. So I started singing on the streets of San Francisco and farmers markets and a cappella and just made enough money to send myself to space camp. And that turned into a whole separate little adventure.
Wow. That is awesome. So what kind of stuff were you singing when you were doing that?
Oh, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Green Day, Offspring, a little bit of everything. Some covers.
I do want to take a gander at your pipes here. So why don't we check out one of the tracks that you sent us? What would you like us to feature first?
Let's go with the first one, Tired of Waiting.
Tired of Waiting. All right, excellent. This is Phillip Fraser with Tired of Waiting.
All my life I've been told that I need to be patient. It's been forever since my heart spoke so loud. Caught up in it to see, almost let my own light die out. Dreams felt so far out of reach, I always tried to be patient. Thought I knew what it was, but I only understood the basics. Now I'm starting to get it, you see. We wake up each day, living our life the same. We know that there's something better for us. Hungry for change, standing in our own way. Our own way. 'Cause all my life I've been told that I need to be patient, but I'm so tired of waiting. They say these things take time, and I know why. Still I'm so tired of waiting. And I've been breaking all the walls down, carrying all of the weight. And I know that when the last brick is gone, I'll find I already had all that I need. No, don't ever let another stop you from glowing. Never let another stop you from growing. Believe me, if you want it, it ain't easy. We wake up each day living our life the same. We know there's something better for us. Hungry for change, standing in our own way. Get out of the way, out of the way, yeah, yeah. 'Cause all my life I've been told that I need to be patient, but I'm so tired of waiting. They say these things take time, and I know why. Still I'm so tired of waiting. No doubt about it, if you really wanna, gotta have focus. This road ahead, it won't be easy, no. Maybe I'm a dreamer and I got it all wrong, but I'm not alone.
My man, you have some serious pipes. That music was
also
awesome.
The band, like, bro.
Yeah, so dope.
Can you, dude?
Thank you. Funny thing about that band, though, that's unreleased tracks from
another
musicians
unreleased.
I was in a band with 25 years ago as child performers.
That's what I was literally.
I started doing some duets, and they're like, "Let's do this album."
Wow. So how old were you guys when you first started performing together?
I was 10.
Oh my God. And you guys started doing this as like a professional act, or you were just kind of doing it at school, or what was that about?
So, in kind of to like interlude from that whole space camp thing, after I'd like sang myself to space camp, my parents helped organize like a kids band of other musicians that were in Sonoma County. And then we started gigging like crazy. We probably did 2,000 gigs in the course of like 4 years. Fairs, festivals, little mini tour. The guitar player on that was 8 years old at the time, 7 years old when we started playing. And then we ended up playing like the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. We're sponsored to go out there.
Wow.
From doing this whole space camp thing, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center had me be the liaison to like promote the U.S. Space and Rocket Center at the Olympics. So I was like an endorsed artist for that. And then that band was called a band called Freedom back in the day.
That is
before YouTube, before any of that other shit, like a lifetime ago, it feels like.
That's amazing. So how long were you guys together for?
That band was together for 5 years, and then transitioned to like a different guitar player. And then everybody moved on at a certain point, went their own directions. And then 25 years later, we got together and did this album.
That is so awesome.
And what was the impetus for you guys to get back together? I mean, did you I mean, did you stay in touch, or did you kind of just run into each other and then it was like, oh, this might be interesting?
We've always kind of been in touch. It's always been good terms. The guitar player of the band that was after that died tragically, and so like that's making music with people, it's like a piece of your soul goes into that. So when we got an opportunity to like go back to our roots, like we recorded it back in our hometown that like we all were playing music into, and all of us have been all over the world doing whatever the hell it is that we're doing. Sorry, a little helicopter overhead.
That's all right.
No worries. How long ago did you guys make the album? Did you say that already?
This album was, we finished recording it probably December of last year, and then we've just kind of been going through mixing and mastering, adding some layers to it, getting our promotional package together.
Amazing.
All of this stuff is still unreleased. This is the first audience that has heard it in any sort of public setting.
Man. That is so cool. And it's exciting because we keep getting exclusive tracks from the artists we've had on the show, and to have another one is just epic. So thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
We love that.
So what's your process like? Do you constantly write lyrics, and then, once you get some music in front of you, then you decide which ones you're going to pull out, or the music inspires what you write?
There's a combination of things that happen. Sometimes it's lyrics, like coming from a background where I don't just do like rock and roll music. I was in a hip-hop band for 5 years that was like an 8-piece live funk hip-hop band. So the MC and the hip-hop element has an entirely different musical creation style than sometimes melodies that I hear.
Absolutely.
And there's times where I can't even sleep at night because I'm hearing a melody in my head and it won't let me go to sleep until I put it in a voice memo, or I try to put some words to the melody. But usually it's it comes to me and I can't do anything about it.
That's pretty cool. Now, is there just an understanding between the members of the band when you guys create that whoever brings something to the table, you guys are all going to kind of go forward with it, or do people have certain roles in terms of what they bring to the table?
So when anybody has any concepts that they bring to the table, we kind of just put them all in a melting pot. We all live in different cities for the most part. So when we get together, we're just like, hey, we kind of feel this song, we kind of feel this song, and then we just jam it out and figure out if something could come from it, which is usually a pretty quick process.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of jamming it out, do you guys jam from your respective states, or how does that work?
We'll go up to Sonoma County, and another band member from a different band has a facility called Live Musicians Co-op in Santa Rosa that has full studio and full rehearsal spaces. So we'll just come to town, I'll visit some of my family, and we'll just lock ourselves in a rehearsal space for 5 hours and slam out some tunes.
That's awesome. And are you going to be touring with this band once you release the album?
I mean, that's the hope. We're all the other two guys had the pleasure of touring with Mystic Roots and Pato Banton and a bunch of different bands. So they kind of want to avoid the monotony of bar gigs or being on the road for long periods of time. But we would like to try to get it in a place, because I work in a lot of festivals doing production, where it's if we can get on a tour as support for a band or support for a major artist, that would be, I think, the direction that we want to lock in.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of, pursuing music as a career, where would you say the majority of money goes? Do you think it goes towards engineering, marketing? Where are you seeing that money go to kind of get your stuff out there?
Well, our biggest expense definitely was just in the recording of it itself. The production and everything that we do as far as putting together merchandising, promo, what our actual release schedule is, because we have the access to so many tools in this day of age, we don't really have to put a ton of expense into that. It's kind of, we can build the suit based on whatever sort of response we get.
Absolutely. I do want to feature another one of your tracks, but before we do, I just want to reset the room here for any new listeners that have joined us. We are Sapo Studios. Our goal is to bring the majority of profits and ownership rights back into the hands of musicians. We operate under the umbrella of the Notorious Frog NFT project, aka Frogland. Do your own research, but get involved. We have plans to unveil a marketplace where you can buy and sell stems and do a whole lot more, but until then, we're chatting it up with artists about music, life, and NFTs. Today we have Phillip Fraser, and he's got some awesome music, and I want to hear some more of it. So what do you want us to play next, Phil?
Well, I'd like to give you a little example of what this band sounded like before this album. So how about we put on that Usual Fashions track?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
This is Usual Fashions.
Usual fashions that were never understood dictate your words like never before, like never before. You can never be so lost. You can never be so confused. Only that you know these are the usual fashions of an unusual world. You can never know what's in store for the future. You can never know where to run to when you misplaced your trust. Now set the stage, now turn the page. Here's what sucks, tell it all. We live in this usual fashion. A color can change your world, or world can change your color. Black and blue, through and through. This moment I live in, for there's nothing better to do than sit and dwell on you. I'll learn my lesson in the usual fashion. I can take my chances with what I think, with what I do. But all the questions remain the same. Hurts, it's a concept exempting few. All but those who let it happen. Oh, but what about you? But what about you? Mystery is the key to self-pity, a compulsiveness as blind as water. Now set the stage, now turn the page. Here's what sucks, tell it all. We live in this usual fashion. A color can change your world, or world can change your color. Black and blue, through and through. This moment I'm living, oh, there's nothing better to do than sit and dwell on you. I'll learn my lesson in the usual fashion. In the usual fashions. In the usual fashions. Oh no.
Hell yeah. Major Incubus vibes.
Definitely.
Yeah, love that.
So that was a track from now 25 years ago. The same drummer and the same bass player, different guitar player on that one. But that was kind of the trajectory that band was going, you know, back at a time when we didn't have all these tools to be able to like really monetize the artist relationship. You know, it was the traditional play gigs, sell merch if you have it, like a whole different shit show, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, it's amazing because you guys still sounded fucking awesome. It's 25 years have passed. It's unbelievable. I want to let A-Bomb hop in here because it looks like he has something he wants to say.
Yo, first of all, Phil, holy shit, my man. That was like, you just tore the roof off of the place. And as well, the vibes. I like that Bingus over here said Incubus vibes. Because, like, all I was feeling was, like, every nostalgic moment of my bumpkin-like childhood, just listening to these epic 90s, like, you know, alternate rock sort of songs. And I was like, I fucking love this, bro. That you guys are sick.
Thank you. It's a little emo if we, you know, being 90s kids. And
Yo, it just took me back, bro. It just placed me in a completely different world. Loved it.
Yeah, man. I was at a string of My Chemical Romance shows this past couple of weeks shooting video stuff, but they had different bands opening every night, like 2 or 3 bands. And then I think they did 5 shows, so there was like, you know, 20 bands or something like that. You guys could easily be opening up for that like emo scene, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And like in my humble opinion, I think you guys are better than some of those bands that I saw opening up. You know?
Oh, you're making a brown man blush over here.
No, but seriously, man, and I really mean that.
No, some serious kick-ass tunes. Absolutely.
Dude, I loved like just the journey of it. Honestly, like the whole thing, like that music production. You guys are just masters of that, my man. Like that, it's because nowadays you hear like some of these beats, and it's just this generic. You know what I mean? Like it's almost the same fucking tempo that everything else is. So you guys just damn, bro. It's very unique, and it's just amazing in my opinion. You guys smoked it. I agree with Shia Papoose up here. Y'all should be opening for many headliners and then be the headliner.
Well, if anybody in the audience or anybody in this network knows the way to open those doors, I am always all ears and love a good conversation with appreciators and fellow musicians and the whole tribe.
Thus far, from my experiences, like the people that would make those decisions would need you to see you perform. You know, so you'd have to have like shows lined up. You'd have to
Of course.
Yeah. So I think that's a big place to start. And I'm just saying that as well because I want to see you guys play live.
Love that.
So for this new album, was there a concept that carried through, or were these just individual songs that were standalone songs?
There is, actually. There was more than... This EP has 5 songs on it. And we kind of were going for a vibe that was very reminiscent of John Mayer's Continuum album. And like the whole concept behind that, of it being like a progression of going through a whole relationship and like, you know, something that was super interpersonal, whatever that relationship is, if it's with people, if it's with jobs, if it's with like yourself. So we really tried to stay true to like being really introspective, I suppose, on this.
Yeah, I could see that. And, you know, it's funny because I don't know if you recall, but when we first met and you played me some of your stuff, I said it gave me John Mayer vibes. And there's so much in this music that has that, you know, jazzy feel that he brings to the table that's just awesome. So I definitely see where you went with that.
That's Mr. Sean Erickson on the guitar that did all of that melody creation for the guitar lines and stuff like that. And he definitely is a monster with heavy influences from like John Mayer and Hendrix and...
Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. When you were in school for music, were you studying, for voice, or were you doing other things?
It was more like it was Musicians Institute, and it was like their, what they call it, recording artist program. So it wasn't like a super long 3-year. It was more shorter, intensive, but the intention of it was being able to learn more rounded skill sets for music industry. So I came in with the focus of vocals, but a lot of it had to do with learning some new DAWs, Logic at the time, getting to network in Hollywood, and kind of just build a better repertoire as a performer and an entertainer.
What are some things that you think carried through once you left?
Production, awareness to production, and some of the things that of how you create a soundscape when you're working in a studio environment. Was one of the biggest things, I think. Like before I had moved to music school, I was running a sound company up in Sonoma County that was doing like events, like live production and stuff like that. So it wasn't like I went into music school blind on how a lot of that worked. I just didn't know necessarily how to translate live to studio, or like the type of equipment or why things are done a certain way, because the flow of things is actually super important.
Absolutely, it is. And are your bandmates trained in any sort of way? Did they take lessons, or are they self-taught? Because I mean that guitar playing is just unreal. So if that guy is self-taught, I'm just gonna give everything up right now.
He was self-taught, but he has taken lessons as well. Like, yeah, I mean, he was a child prodigy. He was playing guitar when he was like 5 years old, 6 years old. The kid was a shredder at 8. Like,
that's unbelievable.
That's something also that I want to just like back up with really quick, because you're saying like you guys were playing as kids and the guitar player was like 7 years old. I am a grown human and still fumbled this, like, so I'm just imagining like these little dudes up there, you know what I mean, just like shred. I'm like, dude, that's fucking epic.
I should find some pictures of all of us having rat tail haircuts, you know what I'm saying? Put it in perspective.
Yes, please. Yes, I would do it. We'll put it as our banner for like a week on Sapo Saturdays, you know what I mean?
I'll see if I can find that. That'd be hilarious.
So, are you familiar with the Web3 NFT space at all? And if so, what's your involvement?
Novice, honestly.
Okay.
I have some people that have been deep in crypto and deep into the processes of blockchain for provenance of other things than just cryptocurrencies. I've started kind of diving into the NFT world as far as like the new paradigm for artists to be able to actually monetize their creations, whether it's like one-of-a-kind albums or it's like complimentary support content that goes with the NFT, like the digital representation for a physical item. Hungry to learn more, of course, because that is what I feel is the future of how artists will be able to really have control of their own livelihood.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, not only from, getting your stuff out there, but from a collaborative point of view, it's unbelievable the doors that Web3 has opened up for artists to be able to collaborate, across states, across the world. And you talk about your bandmates being in different states. That's kind of the idea that we're driving towards, is to be able to facilitate people collaborating, across wide spaces and for that to work. And it's really awesome to see the pioneers of this space move in that direction.
It's going to be interesting to see how this develops in the next 5 years, honestly, as our technology and our ability to create digital content gets better and better, and the rendering is faster and faster, and these experiences that are becoming more virtual are going to be such a huge component of people's lives. Like,
absolutely.
Being on the forefront of that is going to be incredible.
Don't even get me started on the whole metaverse, man. We'll go down a rabbit hole that will never end, honestly. Some of the possibilities, sort of what you're just, bringing up right now, of what can happen and the way to have a closer sort of, I guess, experience with the artist and the fan. That's what Web3 is going to bridge a huge gap for. And I think that's what most artists have wanted since, they started to make music, is they just want people to enjoy it. And then they have a core fan base that does. And at the end of the day, if they can build a stronger, closer relationship and cut the people that are like, dipping into the pockets anyways out, why the hell not?
Exactly. No need for a middleman if you can go direct to the people that are appreciating it.
Does your band have any sort of management, or are you looking into management, or are you trying to propel yourself by yourselves?
Well, we are, because they're both professionals at this point. We are putting a strategy together for that. I've been somewhat on the forefront of that because for about 5 years I was the vice president of a music label in Los Angeles when I got out of music school.
Interesting.
So I have a pretty deep knowledge well of like the administration side of the music industry and like what it's going to take, the amount of resources, being realistic about the amount of time for execution. And it takes a big team. And some of these guys, as much as we really love the music, like I said a little bit earlier, they want to kind of avoid the rat race of what musician, being a performing artist, is for a lot of people.
Did you start that label yourself?
Myself and a friend of mine did, Ed Pfeiffer.
That's amazing. And how did that get started? What was the impetus for that?
So when I was in school, he had a roommate that was from Sonoma County, where I was from, and he was like, "Hey, I think you should meet this guy. He's a stellar fucking engineer." And he's like, "I want to do this album." And he thought it was ready. And like when we started meeting, I was like, we should do this with live musicians. And I know a ton of musicians. And so we started just gelling on writing some songs that turned into the first album we released, which was called Black Market Core, Dope on Plastic. And then we were like, we should probably just see if we can do a label with this. I was in music school and a couple different bands there. And so we signed my band. We picked up another band called the Model Pilots. At the time, the band I was in then was called Prima Nocte. That turned into Project Citizen. Then we had another artist, Rachel Sierra, that was a friend of mine from Sonoma County. That was a stellar singer, crazy neo-soul. And then we just kind of like went all in.
That's amazing. And is that a label that's still in existence?
It is not, unfortunately. It did not survive the test of time.
Hey, listen, not everything does, but your sound did through 25 years. And I want to play a little bit more of that now. So, Shia Bapoose, why don't you load up that next track?
Which one do you want to play, man?
So this song, Sinner, is a nice little tribute to growing up and kind of that introspection I was talking about before, where it's like, wow, we sometimes just got to really take a look at ourselves and like go deep inside. And sometimes we find that art and find that healing.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is another exclusive that we're hearing from the new album. Is that correct?
First time anyone in public has heard this. Maybe
All right.
5 people have heard this song.
That's
Sinner.
amazing. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you doing that here for the first time. Everyone strap in and listen to Sinner.
Don't you know that I'm a sinner? I've done some damage along the way. I had to follow my own path. So sad to say, it's without you. Don't you know I'm a believer? I've given more than I would take. Would rather wear my heart on my sleeve. Oh, baby, please. Than leave it locked in a cage. Along the way, I never realized my love could cause someone I love such misery. Ooh, I'm a sinner.
Dude, this is
that guitar
feeling,
is
man.
So sexy.
It is within that John Mayer vibe 100%, man. Again, opening for John Mayer. Like, why not? Like, put it out there.
Make it happen, Shia Bapoose.
Just
what are you
come
waiting
on,
for?
man. Well, with some of the guests that I'm trying to have on, I don't know if I can make it happen, but hopefully we could...
Yeah, we
You know, we always love a good opportunity for placement and projects and stuff that like really resonate with what we want to do too. There's so many different ways to actually like dive into entertainment industry and like being a creator. You know, it's not just necessarily about the shows, even though like that's probably the best high I've ever had in my life, is being on stage, performing to people, like feeling like a message is heard or like felt.
Yeah,
Bro,
there's nothing like that.
If you're in the audience and you don't feel that, I don't know. Like, I just don't know what to say.
Yeah, I
like
mean that music is an experience for sure. You all right over there, Sapo?
Dude. Just like the dynamics of that. Come on.
So, Phil, you said that there are a lot of times where you're recording melodies into your phone. When you bring those to the guitar player, does he just come back with the wildest shit and you're like, oh, yeah, that'll work?
See, like, he oh, man.
Oh, did we lose Phil?
He's like shredding, but he's not playing too many notes. It's kind of like Scott Page was saying. Like, he's like choosing his notes, like, specifically, and he's not just like... And it's not like every note is being played as hard as you can. Some notes are being played lighter than others, which is dynamics, and not many guitar players do that well. It's like 1 out of every 3 guitar players will actually have dynamics of note variation, which is a big part of music. And that's something that I'm working on in my guitar playing, is actually being cognizant of like trying to not play every single note as hard as you can.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a great example of that.
If you don't play, what?
Like just that right there, like what he played. See, just not entirely.
See, as simple as that. See,
yeah, it's wonderful. Did we lose Philip?
I don't know. Did we lose Phil? Damn, I think
you're over it, Phil.
Yeah, I think Phil got rugged.
You're over it, man, huh? Where'd you go, man?
All right, well, it seems we have lost Phil, but it was a pleasure speaking with him
happened?
while we did have him.
Strange.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I guess if we lost Phil, then
we can't hear A-Bomb either. He's talking. I see him, but I don't know why we can't.
Oh, all sorts of things happening right now. Anywho, we really appreciate you being with us on this beautiful Saturday. Got to listen to some awesome tunes from Phillip Fraser. The band is absolutely unbelievable together. It's just, they make some fucking awesome music. The band is called Made of Mana. They have a new EP coming out, 5 songs. It's going to be awesome. You got to hear 3 of them here exclusively. Had never been played to a live audience before, so that's pretty exciting. Really appreciate Phil doing that for us, because it's just so cool to have that opportunity to feature those exclusive songs. Thank you all for being with us. We love you very much. Sapo Studios out.
No one else to blame. Don't you know that I'm a sinner? I've done some damage along the way. I never realized my love could cause someone I love